Ladies and gentlemen, some juicy news today, so let's click straight into this one. Welcome back to the road to WWDC here on the First Click Show. Oh man, I still love that intro. Anyways, guys, it's time to talk about the iPad Pro. Again, the M1 iPad Pro. Because the report that we have here is probably going to be obsolete in a few days. But anyways, right now it's still relevant. And that is a report from Mac Rumors coming in that Apple apparently is limiting the amount of RAM that these new M1 iPad Pros can actually use for an app, for example. Now keep in mind that this limitation is apparently set for the 8GB of RAM version and the 16GB of RAM version. We will come back to that in a little bit, but let's just look at the article. Apparently a developer at Art Studio Pro, a app on the Apple App Store, is reporting that after optimizing the app for the M1 iPad Pros, the developer apparently noticed that the app was actually crashing because of the amount of RAM that it was trying to consume, and apparently the iPad wasn't letting it do that. So that is fairly interesting. Again, this also being the case on the 16GB version of this M1 iPad Pro means that this report is probably just something that is only going to be true for iPadOS 14, and iPadOS 15 is probably going to have a very different set of features and will probably lift this limitation, because there is no way in hell that Tim Cook made a whole video about him putting this M1 into the iPad Pro just for no reason whatsoever. Because keep in mind, 5GB of RAM, that is less than the cap on the iPad 2018 and the iPad 2020. That is absolutely insane. So I would say this is just a current limitation that is set. Obviously, we are going to follow this story and keep you posted on every single update. For now, let's just go to the next story. We are talking about Apple's plans to update the AirPods. Now, Bloomberg is coming in with another insane report on this one. I mean, I'm a big fan of the AirPods. I have every single iteration of the AirPods, the normal ones up to the Max. It's absolutely amazing. They work tremendously. But anyways, we're going really off topic here. This is not about me, this is about the news. So let's just get straight into this report. So according to Mark Gurman and Debbie Wu, who actually wrote this article, Apple is actually planning on making a smaller sized AirPods Pro. That's probably going to be announced somewhere next year. But for now, obviously, we're waiting first for the Beats Studio Buds. Anyways, it's probably going to be similar to that design, but then a little bit rounder and a little bit more of an AirPods design. We didn't see the design yet. We have to wait for John Prosser or someone like that to show us. But apparently, there is going to be a smaller design for the AirPods Pro, reportedly, right? And we are definitely curious to see how much that's going to resemble the trend that these Beats Studio Buds are going to show us. Like, is this going to be a trend across the board for AirPods, like the smaller AirPods, obviously not the Maxes, and the Beats Studio Buds? Obviously, at this point, nobody knows, but this report coming in from Bloomberg, from Mark Gurman, obviously a reliable source with a solid track record. I would say it's pretty obvious that this is being tested. And I'm definitely curious how far they're going to go with making this smaller and smaller. Am I eventually going to lose it in my ear? I do like the stems on the AirPods, especially for the mics, but also just for getting them out of my ear. I'm not sure how the Beats Studio Buds are going to solve that problem for me. Maybe I'm going to have to dig them out of my ear. But for now, I'm definitely curious about these AirPods. It's probably more my style. Now, according to Mark Gurman, they will also feature fitness trackers, or that is at least the focus on the new sensors in the AirPods that are going to come out next year. But I can imagine that this is definitely a good add-on for people who don't have an Apple Watch or just want to have an alternative to the Apple Watch in terms of fitness tracking, right? For example, if you don't like to wear watches while doing your sports. It's very, very interesting. I'm definitely curious how this is going to go, and we are going to keep you up to date on this story right here on First Clicks. And we're not done with Gurman yet, although this report is coming in from Mac Rumors again. We're talking about the Apple TV/HomePod combination, which is obviously a rumor that has been going on now for a little bit. Now, according to Mark Gurman, this is still in early development, probably just testing. And I'm sure that it's not a coincidence that the new Apple TV obviously connects even better with the current set of HomePods that we have. Obviously, the Apple TV has been sitting on the shelves for a little bit, so if you look at the back of the actual official box that comes with the Apple TV, the new Apple TV, you will see the old HomePod that is not even being sold anymore. So it's definitely curious to see that this new combination is obviously the future. I hope it hasn't been sitting on a shelf for a really long time as well, or it won't be in the future. Now, apparently this is going to confirm that that isn't true, and they're still working on it. It's still in early development. So rest assured, your new purchase of the Apple TV is going to run you a really long while. But it's definitely curious to see that this is the future of Apple TV, or, well, allegedly. Now, obviously, Gurman also reported on another HomePod. I don't know if it's the same HomePod. I wouldn't think so. With an actual screen attached to it. Some people have actually made a Photoshop version of an iPad slapped on top of some sort of half HomePod or whatever, iMac style, right? The Pixar iMac style. It's definitely curious to see this. I am not sure how that is going to work, but I mean, you also have these other products from the other companies like Amazon and Google that do have a screen maybe for pictures, but I would imagine that Apple is probably going to do a lot more with that layout, and I'm definitely curious to see what that's going to be, but I feel like they're going to have to sell this a bit more on stage to me, because for now, I just like the speaker on its own, right? It just looks clean. And having a screen attached to it, I didn't like it with the competitors, and I'm not sure, at least based on the Photoshop pictures that we have right now, if I'm going to like it in this form factor either. So Apple's probably going to have to tweak that a little bit, and obviously I'm not the only one with an opinion. You guys are definitely entitled to your own opinion, but I'm super curious. So definitely let us know in the comments down below what your opinion is on this potential new HomePod, or maybe two new HomePods, one with Apple TV in it and one with a screen on top of it. I'm not sure which one is true or which one is actually going to come out. Apparently both are being tested, and I'm definitely curious to see which one is going to make it out, if at all. Guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in here. Obviously, we have only a few days left to WWDC, and I can't wait to see this countdown go down to 0.